How long does it take me to make a painting? I've gotten this question a lot over the years, and it makes sense. I think as artists, we often have a strong desire to understand how we're doing compared to everyone around us. I want to kind of dig into this question today and approach it in more ways than just how many minutes or hours a particular painting is taken. Because I think that even though this number can tell us some things about an artist, I don't think it tells us everything. This painting took me 45 minutes and 35 seconds. Or did it? During some of my early formative years as an artist, I was really intrigued by the idea of digital speed painting. If you were on the internet in the online art community in 2010, 2011, there was a big influx of speed paint videos and tutorials and a huge amount of interest in the community about the topic of speed painting. By speed painting here, I'm talking about paintings that were actually done quickly, not sped up footage of a painting, which I realize is what this video is titled, and I agree that that's misleading. But to be clear, the type of speed painting I'm talking about is this culture that existed and still totally exists of very experienced individuals creating striking paintings in a short amount of time and posting about it online. The audience reactions were intense. People were blown away that such amazing artwork, often landscapes, sci-fi and fantasy landscapes, could be created so quickly. And I think this idea started floating around that in order to be a talented artist, you should be doing these speed paints. This is what all of these crazy talented individuals are doing for practice. This is their daily routine. This is what they're posting. This is how to get good, right? Just open a canvas and make a painting in 30 or 40 or maybe 90 minutes tops. If that's what all these professionals are doing and posting, then it must be the path to success. And I think a lot of people, myself included for a little while, fell down this rabbit hole of trying to create really cool and striking art, painting straight on a canvas with no sketch, no perspective lay-in, no foundation, just paint on a blank canvas. And there may be some very lucky individuals who found success jumping straight into this, but for me, it was a disaster. Nothing was coming out well. Nothing was striking. It was a mess. I got stuck for days, weeks, months, scrapping every single disastrous painting along the way. I had to completely let go of this concept of making work quickly to make any progress. And here's why, I think at least. I was watching these videos and seeing these final products. And it was the amalgamation of years of study that I didn't have. These artists knew perspective so well that they didn't need a grid. They didn't need any sort of guidelines because they had drawn those grids and guidelines so many times over that they could see them in their mind's eye before ever putting marks down on a canvas. They were artists who studied from the masters, studied from life, studied from books, teachers, videos, and drew and painted from imagination hundreds or thousands of times before. They were skipping steps because they'd done the steps 100 times before. That's really what I was seeing and reacting to, and I think a lot of others as well. Experienced artists skipping steps because they were moving through those steps consciously or subconsciously in their mind. What I was trying to do, and what I've seen many, many others try to do, is skip those same steps before ever truly learning how to do them. And I think this is where the misstep happens. The speed comes from experience, and gaining that experience is not a step that you can skip. After I scrapped the idea of making paintings quickly, I buckled down. I spent years doing study after study, and importantly, I spent time doing very rendered and figured out paintings. I spent time learning in detail how to paint a texture so that it feels real, how to render lighting and form so they create dimension. And I'm still in this process today. I try every day to spend some time learning. anatomy, perspective, form, shape, line, value, color, composition, lighting. I have a bookshelf full of art books, and I'm nowhere near done. Nowhere near the experience and talent that exists in the world, and it's exciting. You know, when you figure out how to render something completely, you start to be able to intelligently remove information and boil it down to the essence of whatever that thing is. I discovered that this process of removing information for the overall benefit of a painting is actually my favorite part of the process. Over time, I've realized that being economic with my strokes and reducing the information to only what is necessary can yield at least the same emotional response as a fully rendered painting, sometimes even more of an emotional response. But if I hadn't gone through the process of learning to render, learning the form, learning what exists and hiding nothing in lost edges, then I wouldn't ever have stumbled upon the true essence of that information. It's through this process of learning completely and distilling, constructing and then deconstructing, that speed painting shines. Only the most vital information is revealed. And it's only through the process of learning all the possibilities that could have been shown that this level of carefully curated information can be achieved. What those speed painters were doing, and what they continue to do, is ask themselves, what is the least amount of information necessary to portray this concept in its full striking power? And when the artist has the visual library that they've built up, when they have the knowledge to choose that information thoughtfully and execute it with only the brush strokes necessary, the results can be incredible. Most of these artists are skilled not only with technique, but also with the knowledge of how to fill their visual library with ideas. They have so many ideas, so much to say, that speed painting becomes the best use of their time to work through enough ideas to get to the juiciest ones. I work toward that level every day, and I know that the only way to climb that mountain is through the same foundational skills that have brought me this far. So, how long did this painting take me? Maybe it took me 45 minutes, or maybe it took me 8 years of gathering knowledge and experience. Maybe it took me books and videos and trips to the zoo and 50 sketchbooks. I skipped a lot of steps here that I myself, with less experience, me 8 years ago, wouldn't have been able to. Sketching various poses until finding one I liked, framing it in different ways, these things that I was able to skip, value thumbnails, color thumbnails, and anatomical lay-in. And this isn't a perfect painting by any means. This wasn't meant to be a painting that was much of anything, but it ended up being pretty popular on social media, so I want to be real with my followers. The more time you put into study, the faster you'll be able to get results you like. It's taken me 8 years of purposeful study to get to this point, and in another 8 years, who knows? Hopefully something great. Alright guys, thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying making these, and I definitely want to make a lot more of these video essays and some other things too. I've got a lot of videos planned, so if you want to see more, subscribe and stick around. And if you're interested in any more of the information and videos that I've done in the past, I actually have a Gumroad store where I've created a lot of in-depth tutorials, so if you want to check that out, link in the description. I really appreciate all of you who've subscribed so far. It's really awesome to me that this channel is growing, and I'm very much excited for the future. Alright, see you guys next time.